Good morning and afternoon, especially to all the young people who are in the hall and all the women in the hall. It's a huge honor to be part of this inaugural panel for the 2022 edition of this conference and to represent the European Union here. We are proud to have supported this conference from the very beginning, and it's delightful to see the very rich program that we see in the booklet that you all have. We're especially happy to see speakers from across South Asia because as the European Union, we have a kind of weak spot for regional integration. And we all know that South Asia is the least integrated region of the world. So the fact that you have people speaking here from across the subcontinent is a glimpse of hope. Now, the topic of this conference this year is highly relevant, of course, in the current context, and especially looking both from the current context as well as history. I am not a lawyer. I'll make that disclosure right away. But I say this because you should not expect from me an analysis of constitutionalism. But as a diplomat and a government official with long experience both in national and EU institutions, constitutionalism is a rather straightforward and basic idea. It's about the fact that governments and individuals and institutions are not free to do anything they please in any manner that they choose. Instead, they're bound to observe both the limitations of power and the procedures set out in the basic supreme constitutional law. A key element, of course, in this is the separation of powers between institutions, with each institution setting out to perform its specific role within a clearly defined mandate. And of course, what this means is that checks and balances must be in place, they must be honored, they must be respected, so that no one institution can overpower any other one. And this is something certainly in terms of implementation that our colleague from Sri Lanka, Dr. Saravanamuttu, referred to when he spoke of the need for political culture as the really driving force for constitutionalism. With this in mind, the European Union has been supporting Pakistan and its institutions through a range of programs in the past years to improve institutional capacity so that they can in fact deliver on the respective mandates, the institutions that is, for the ultimate health and benefit of Pakistani citizens. For instance, we run 3 consecutive programs in support of parliaments and assemblies in this country. We run programs on strengthening the rule of law, and we run a human rights program which supports executive and human rights institutions to translate international commitments of human rights into policy. That's where the rubber hits the road. But while we're sitting here comfortably in this lovely hotel, there are many millions of people still suffering under the effects of the floods. They are living still on roadsides, under tarps, and they've lost everything from the devastating floods. And let me say that a disaster like this is the ultimate test of the strength of a constitutional system and its institutions. Is the state and its institutions able to assist citizens in need? Is the state able to help people to meet their basic needs? Is it able to ensure protection? Can it enable people to rebuild their lives? And are the different levels of decision-making and various institutions with their respective mandates able to collaborate without blockages and an impasse in addressing the crisis? I mean, these are the really salient questions that we're grappling with all together now in Pakistan. And myself, I traveled a few weeks ago to the flood-affected regions in Sindh, together with the EU Commissioner for Crisis Management. I understand that even the most strong institutions and systems are overstretched by this disaster. And this is why Europe meaning the European Union as well as our member states, have pooled resources in a kind of engagement we call Team Europe to support emergency relief for the floods to the tune of 123 million euros of assistance, which puts us at actually number one at this point. Thank you. Now, I did not have a chance myself to meet Asma Jangahir. I wish I had, but of course I knew about her in my previous work on human rights. And I'm struck by how everybody at this conference speaks of her with awe and with reverence. And what that means is that she continues to inspire even after she's not with us physically. So she might not be here in person, but I have the impression that all of you, all of us, carry a little bit of Asma in our hearts. And it's that little bit of Asma, or that big part of Asma, that will give us the courage also to face difficult situations and never lose hope, even in the most darkest of moments. So thank you again, once again, to the organizers, and I'm really looking forward to this conference and these terrific sessions we have in front of us. Thank you.